Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Williamson County Sports Connection. I'm Jack Daniels, your host, and with me for today's show are our two announcers for our Game of the Week in Williamson County, Paul Breece and Matt Hill. Welcome, gentlemen.
We're glad to be here.
Well, good. Let's start with a little bit about you guys, where you grew up, where you went to school, what you did while you was in school, athletic-wise, that kind of stuff, and just kind of get some background. Matt, we'll start with you.
I grew up in West Texas in Odessa, and some of you guys might be familiar with that. It's the home of Friday Night Lights, where they made the movie and the book was about. And 3 years started there football-wise, and loved playing down there. It was awesome. And came to Vanderbilt here and was there 4 years. Wasn't quite as successful at Vanderbilt as I was in high school, but had a lot of fun and met some great people, and met my wife here, and here we are.
Okay. Now, where are you at right now? Are you a teacher in our system?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm a 7th grade teacher at Grassland Middle School, teaching math.
All right. Now, Friday night in Odessa, Texas. How many people come to a football game on a Friday night?
Between 30 and 35,000.
And
we got now we had one big screen TV. Now there's one in both ends, and it's not just like that in my hometown. Midland's 20 minutes away, and they're the exact same way, which you wouldn't think it'd be that far. And of course, we were in the highest division, but to give you a little idea, we were 5A at the time at 6A, and in Andrews, small town, just about 45 minutes away from my hometown, they were Division III school, and their high school stadium had about 20,000 people. And their town shut down on Friday nights with the games.
I got an email from Tim Hoskins, who's our head trainer for our Williamson County high schools, and he sent me a link to Allentown, Texas, where they're in the process of building a $60 million football stadium only.
Yeah.
That is just unbelievable for a high school to spend that much money for a stadium. But anyway, more power to Texas.
Yeah, they got stadium seats at the one in Midland. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. Paul, tell us about you, man.
My story's not quite as impressive as Matt's. I actually moved in Brentwood in '72, so I've seen the growth throughout the county, and went to Lipscomb, and part of a bad gene pool, all I did was play golf in high school. So currently I'm a teacher at Grassland Middle School as well, and
You also coach golf.
And I coach golf and basketball, so we just are living our dream here, just broadcasting and given the chance to do this.
Right. Now, Matt, do you do any coaching at Grassland?
No, I don't do any coaching. I got 2 little boys.
Keeps you tied up.
My wife works at Vanderbilt, so sometimes she doesn't get off till 7, 6:30 at night sometimes, and so they just be in daycare too long. When the youngest one, when he gets up in elementary school, I'm gonna pick it up.
Okay.
I actually coached at NBA JV for a year, and like doing that. And I was hired to coach in Texas at Midland High Bulldogs, for the Midland High Bulldogs, and I got hired to coach, teach special ed, and they fired the coach. And, and I was getting married and told my wife, I said, you want to get married and I'm coaching, we're going to be moving a lot. And she said, let's just teach. That's fine with me. So.
Well, now, Paul, how long have you and Matt been working together on the broadcast?
I guess it's maybe year 4 for us.
Okay.
I've been doing it for 7 years.
All right.
And started out with a couple other guys, and we haven't messed up bad enough to get rid of us yet. So
Okay.
I guess we're doing all right.
All right. Now, who does what on the Friday night broadcast now?
I do the play-by-play,
Okay.
and Matt does the color.
All right. So you're making all the comments about what actually took place during the course of the play and all that kind of stuff.
He does a better job of remembering people's names, so it's a lot easier.
Well, he's had a little more game experience than I have. I played middle school, but that was it. I retired after that.
Right. Right. So, man, how much prep goes into play on trying to get ready for a Friday night game?
Paul and I, we get on a couple different websites that we look at and get some stats down. Paul does a real good job of doing a lot of that, and we get together, email stuff back. He'll email me things. I'm probably a little bit better on the technology end, and I'll put us together a sheet, and we'll talk about it and read through it. We look at look at the schedule and see what games we got coming up and say, okay, that's a good matchup. We better, know all this, and it's got a little bit easier as the years have gone on, because you kind of have an idea about what's happening, and you know who the players are, you know who the coach is, you know what's going to happen with these guys, you know who's returning, who's not going to be there. So it's got a little bit easier this last year, especially. I think maybe a little bit more goes into basketball for me than anything else. I know we're talking about football, but it's not that bad. And it's fun to do. It's sit down and look at these things and follow these teams and these players here in Williamson County. It's not hard to sit down and look at that stuff. You enjoy doing it.
Right. Now, Paul, when you walked into the studio today, you had a wad full of paper here, and now we got it laid out and going across the. Is this how it is on a Friday night? Where you just bringing in papers laying across the table?
Well, we try. We're out in the elements a lot of times, and we catch some of the light from the stadium light, so sometimes it's a little hard to read, and either the wind's blowing or we've been in the elements where it's sleeting and raining, and so.
We don't put you inside in the press box. Nice and dry.
I think maybe twice we have been inside, and other than that, just up top on top of the press box.
Usually, I sit there and try to condense it onto one sheet, front and back, and usually we don't have this.
So, since we were talking about the press box, kind of in the county now, what is the place that you guys look forward to going because you're going to be taken care of?
Well, I know what he's going to say, so I'm not going to take his answer.
Okay.
I would say Independence is pretty good. The booster clubs, they take care of you pretty well down there. The food and everything. And,
they throw down.
And I don't mind driving a little extra to go down to Independence. Of course, Brentwood High is okay because it's only 3 minutes up the road from my house, and don't have to fight the traffic. But his answer is probably going to be a little more interesting than mine.
Matt, what's your answer?
Well, talk about being taken care of. I've only been there once, and this is not what Paul was thinking.
Oh,
but I will go into that. Don't worry. Only time I've been there was Centennial. We went there one time last year, and they did a good job too. They put a good spread out, and they're very nice out there. But by far, Fairview is my favorite place to go play. It reminds to go and call the I don't know what you call him. The PA announcer. He's worth the price of admission, hands down. I mean, he is hilarious. The stuff he says over the PA, and then you start cracking up over it. And you go to some places, and at halftime, after the band plays, a good portion of the crowd gets up and leaves. That doesn't happen at Fairview. It's a good atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. It reminds me, even though it's not the biggest stadium we go to, but it reminds me of something like that would be in West Texas or back home. That reminds me of that type. It's a real football atmosphere.
Have they got you guys on top, or are you inside?
Oh, we're on top. We have room, and Creed's not putting us in there for some reason.
There have been an occasion where we have been inside, and when Matt first came on, I said, Fairview's pretty good because they actually put us inside, and when we got there that first time, I think he was like,
and it was cold, man. It was cold. I got some insulation, but I needed to be inside.
And we're talking about taking care of. We're talking about bringing you pizzas, they're bringing you coffee, the hamburgers, popcorn. I mean, what's the kind of foods are we looking at here, fellas?
Independence down there, they bring out the chicken wings and the chicken strips, and it seems like they have it catered every week by somebody different. But
Centennial had Logan's. That's how.
Logan's was one of the caterers.
Brentwood's always got pizza.
Yeah, so. All the schools throughout the county are good. But just being bigger guys, we always kind of favor the.
Well, we like the food.
Yeah. Well, I think the county AD maybe needs to start going to the press box area then instead of standing down on the sideline, because I'm not getting the dad gym thing on the sideline. It sounds like you guys are getting fed pretty good up there in the press box area.
Not too bad.
Well, Paul, since you've been doing it 7 years, is there one game that kind of sticks out in your mind that's kind of been your favorite game?
Well, there's been a lot of, games that were really intense, but I think the one going back that I look at was the Ravenwood-Brentwood Academy game, maybe 2008, overtime game. Brentwood Academy actually won 36-35, and I think Coach Rector at the time was the coach at Ravenwood, and he gambled and went for two, and they failed on it. But that was just a great game to call. And anytime you get a lot of points on the board, it was just kind of like a good boxing match, just back and forth. So I believe the next year, I think Ravenwood actually beat Brentwood Academy for the first time that a Williamson County team had ever beaten team. But that game had stood out to me as a game that was fun to call.
Mm-hmm. Matt, do you have a special game?
There have been a lot of really good ones, especially some of the Brentwood Franklin games, especially the last couple of years. But I think the last year, my favorite one we had was Fairview versus, I think, what was it, Siegel?
Giles County.
Giles County.
Yeah.
And that was just a really good game. I mean, great atmosphere. Fairview's got some really explosive players. They're
sure
young, and they're just a lot of fun to watch, and that had to be it.
Mm-hmm. I was at that game, and that was the high school football Friday night atmosphere you like to have at a game when you got two teams that are well coached, and then both of them going at each other.
Yep.
And, I know that Fairview wish they had a couple plays back here and there, but it was definitely a good game. And I think Fairview is one of our teams in our county that's got an opportunity of making it even deeper into the playoffs this year. I know they were in the quarterfinals last year, but I think that they got a shot at maybe making semifinals and maybe even all the way to state championship game. But as we get ready about talking about the past, I want to bring you guys in so we can start making some predictions of what this season, 2012, is going to be like in our county. Now, our schedule for the WCTV coaches shows and the games of Friday nights are Blackman at Independence. Blackman at Independence, and that would be August the 17th. Matt, we'll start with you. Kind of give me a feel about that game.
Well, Independence has got a good squad. I mean, they well coached, got some good seniors coming back. Blackman's going to be a tough team coming in there, but I think Independence has got a good shot at winning that game. They got on a roll towards the end last year and showed some good stuff. I think they got a good shot at winning that game.
How about you, Paul?
Independence, their defense, can match up with anybody. It just seems like if they can be able to find a way to score, that they're going to have a shot here. And it's a tough week 0 game for them to open up against any kind of Rutherford County team.
I think it's good they're at home. I think that'll help them out a lot.
Now, last year they played at Blackman, and it was a 14-9 game, and they had a young man who was a pretty good tailback that I think signed with Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I think his little brother is back this year.
That's correct.
So is that something you think that Independence is going to be able to contain him?
Well, Independence has picked up a couple of guys, and I think they can match the speed with Blackman. So we'll just see defensively if they can just contain him and just they really had to settle for a lot of field goals last year.
Yeah.
Independence did, so they need to try to convert those 3s to 7s.
And just like Paul said earlier, the strength of their team is their defense. And so I think especially earlier on, just being around football early in the season, defenses generally seem to be a little bit ahead of the offenses, and I think that's going to help them out.
On Independence, I know that they had a major loss when they lost that punter and kicker they had.
Yeah.
That young man was one of the best I've seen since I've been in this county for 15 years. I know he's gone up to Kentucky up there and playing up there. And there was a couple of games that Coach Dyson's, gave him the game ball for winning. And I think the Franklin game, they kept him backed up the whole time. And so I think, in their special teams, it's got to be a little bit down losing a kid like that. So those field goals might not be as easily to come by this year. They may have to be making touchdowns. And you, Paul, made mention to a couple of new players. I accused Coach Dyson of doing some recruiting, and I seen him earlier at a couple of events. But they do have a couple of young men that have come in. I think they're in the process of checking eligibility to make sure they're going to be able to play. But those two young men are definitely going to make them a better football team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know one of them's already been offered a scholarship to the University of Tennessee. The Brentwood Academy kid has already been offered. So, well, the second week, Summit is going to host Loretta. You guys were at the Summit game last year, the first kickoff that took place. Matt, take us back to that play.
Well, I'll be completely honest here. That was, the very first play of the season for us. And I did not think anything special was about to happen. And if you actually listen to it, Paul's talking the whole way, and I was not involved in it until the end of it. And like, I was looking at some papers or something, thinking, all right, this is who the starting quarterback's going to be. And then Paul starts basically screaming. I look up, and he's taking off. And it was an amazing play. And of course, you saw it. It was on YouTube, and I can't even remember how many hits we got. It was an insane amount of hits, and it was an amazing play. Great way to start off the season for us. That schools start them off, and really, it looked like for that first half they were going to that really energized their whole team and their whole crowd, and just it kind of carried them over, and it looked like they were going to be in that game for a while. And then just some mistakes started happening, which happens when you're a young club. But that was just an amazing thing to be a part of.
Paul, that had to be probably one of the most exciting plays that you had to call last year.
I think so, and just like Matt says, we're always just assuming that there's going to be a tackle, and we're trying to get ready for the offense to come out, and lo and behold, and then it didn't really even dawn on me that it was the first play of their whole high school career down there at Summit. So just to put the 2 and 2 together, and it just was a neat thing that happened. And I've had some parents from Summit call me and said they've made like pictures and put up all this stuff through school about the whole first play kind of thing. So I know they struggled last year, but I think that this Loretto game may be the one that we could be there for the first win in the school's history. So maybe another
first play, first touchdown, first win. There we go.
Possibly so.
So, Matt, are you also picking a win for Summit then?
I think they've got a good shot at getting it. I think they got the good shot at getting their first win. I think they've got it there.
Okay, well, good. Third game, week 2, Franklin at Centennial. Now, as we all know, one team has never won this game.
Yeah.
Paul, what do you think?
You know what? I think it may be the Cougars' year to finally break that. Franklin, really a young group, having to kind of rebuild, and Coach Webb's going to do a great job there. Again, Coach Rector over at Centennial's kind of got the enthusiasm going, and got a good quarterback coming back, and that's what you kind of need to try to. If you want to break a skid of not winning a game against your cross-county team there, having a good quarterback is it. So I think I will go with Centennial.
Okay, Matt?
And just on the flip side of that, you're talking about having a good quarterback at Centennial, and not that St. Franklin won't be losing young man like Matt Queven, and not just having a new head coach. You got a lot of turnover there for the Franklin Rebels, and I think that this is a prime year for Centennial to come in. But at the same time, I'm sure Franklin sees the fact that they're going to see this on TV where people are picking Centennial to beat them. The newspaper people are going to be picking Centennial to beat them, so they're going to be real pumped up for that game. But the fact that it's at Centennial, the fact that they got a whole basically new group of people coming in, a new coach, I got to give the nod to the Cougars.
All right, the nod goes to the Cougars, and Matt and Paul will be waiting for the Logans when they get there.
That's right.
No pickles.
Here we go, week 3. Fairview at Page, always a big rivalry game, always another big rivalry game. Start with you, Matt.
Both these two completely different teams. Page comes out and wants to run the heck out of the ball at you, and Fairview's wide open. But Page does a good job of running their offense, and if they can control the ball and keep the Fairview's offense off the team and off the field, and not let them get in a flow like they do, Page has got a good shot. I think that they're going to be glad to be playing in their backyard. But I think Fairview's just got too many weapons, got a lot of seniors, and I think that they're gonna pull it out.
Paul, what do you think?
I think with Coach Rathbone, coming in, I think he's going to try to maybe spread it out a little more than what Page has normally done, and they got Zach Mazel, the quarterback, who can really sling it around. So it's going to be probably a different look than what we normally see maybe with Page. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's going to try to score points as fast as he can. So
they did try to run the ball,
or
throw the ball at the end of the year. They were throwing a lot more.
So it could be a shootout, but Coach Hughes does have the right pieces in place to make a big run this year. So I'm probably going to go with Fairview, but it's always like any rivalry, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. I mean, kind of thing. You play them close no matter what. And
yeah.
We'll give you a little insight on Page now. On one of the first scrimmages this fall, they threw about 7 touchdown passes.
Really?
And they only called about 5 running plays the whole scrimmage.
Really?
And so from the word I'm getting, they've got some really good wide receivers. And, of course, the quarterback kid, Mazzell kid that you were talking about, can definitely throw the football. So I think Coach Rathbone's mentality is they may look to throw the football definitely a lot more, make run a secondary play for them. So it could definitely be a different Page team we see this year. Week 4, Centennial at Independence. Matt, start with you.
Well, Centennial, good squad. They got a good group of guys. They got a good coach, and I think they're going to probably be coming in with a winning record, looking to go in there and beat Independence. But I think Independence has got it down. I mean, they're going to be one of the best teams in the district, and I think that they're going to beat the Cougars, especially playing at home. Okay, so you're going with Independence. All right, Paul, what do you think?
I guess in a game like this, and Centennial's already had to play Franklin, and they're going to, their depth may become a problem, and Independence does have a lot of kids, and so I'll probably go with Independence here. I'm a big Centennial Cougar guy, but, always cheering for the underdog, but sometimes you got to realize, it's tough. But Independence at home, I'll probably go with the Eagles.
Now, I'm saying Centennial has a shot at making it to the semifinals or the state in 5A football this year.
Really?
I think they have got the pieces in place. Coach Rector does a great job. That's going to be a great game, but I definitely could see Centennial coming into that game with all guns a-blazing. It would be a great game.
Well, they've got a good shot of being undefeated coming into that game.
Yeah, they sure do.
Both of them do. If Independence side of them, but if Independence can get by Blackman, it looks like they're going to have 2 undefeated teams in that game, I would think.
Well, now I'm going to disagree with you there, Matt, because they got to play Brentwood on August the 30th on a Thursday night.
I thought they played them later in the season.
No,
I didn't realize that.
On August the 30th. So
I thought they were later in there.
Yeah. Week 5, Gallatin at Brentwood. Paul?
Well, Gallatin always a perennial power, but I tell you what, Coach Pemberton, coming into Brentwood, he's got the kids in place to make a big run. I think it's like 30-something plus seniors on the team, and those kids have been well coached in the past. So I'll probably stick with the Brentwood Bruins to put up a win.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I agree. Usually when you got a coaching change, sometimes there's a little step back. I don't think there will be one, especially with the amount of seniors they have on this team. I think they'll just pick up right where they left off.
Last time they had a coaching change, though, they won the state championship. That's right, 2002. When I left, Crawford came in, they won the state. So Crawford leaves, so I'm saying Pemberton, I'm saying Brentwood's going to be in the state championship game this year.
There you
go. That's why I'm going with that one. Week 6, Ravenwood at Franklin. Matt?
Well, I think it's going to be a good game. But I think it's going to be a close game. Both these teams, no love lost between them. I think I'm going to go underdog. I think Franklin's underdog, but I'm going to go Franklin in this game. Okay. I think at home.
Paul?
Well, Coach Wrightville, in his second season now, kind of got things under, kind of came in late last year and kind of get a spring in now this year and trying to get things in place. Just trying to get the kids to buy in what he wants to do. This is a tough one. I think both these teams are going to be fighting for, scrapping for any win they can get at this time. It's the point in the season. So I think Franklin being at home, I think Coach Webb will, by week 6, will have things going in the right direction. So I'll go with Franklin.
Okay. I kind of agree with you guys on that one. Week 7, Lawrence County at Franklin. I don't know much about Lawrence County. Paul, what do you think?
Well, I'm not 100% sure on Lawrence County, but I guess I'll go with Franklin. I don't know who did the schedule at Franklin this year, but they got to be on there for some reason. So maybe it's homecoming day or something there.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, same with y'all. I'm not exactly sure anything about Lawrence County, and but I think Franklin's definitely.
I think they're a 5A. Lawrence County's 5A.
They are 5A, and
yeah.
they struggled a little bit last year. I think they may have went 2-8 or something like that last year. Had a little bit of struggle. So I'm with you guys. I like Franklin there. Ravenwood at Centennial, Matt.
I think that's got Centennial.
Centennial.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They're going to be on a roll trying to. Yeah. They're going to be looking, looking towards the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to overlook Ravenwood there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Coach Rector is not, having previously coached at Ravenwood, and won a state title there. He's going to remind his kids, anything can happen anytime, but he's not going to let them slip up against Ravenwood, especially at home. Week
9 is a little bit different for us this year in our county. We don't have a home game in our county this year, Week 9. So, we'll have to get creative in what we're going to do that particular week. Could end up at Spring Hill in the Summit game. So we won't talk about that game. So let's go on to Week 10. Week 10, Franklin at Brentwood, always a biggie. Paul, what do you think?
Well, it's normally the battle for the district, and I think the picture will be not between Franklin and Brentwood, but it'll be if whoever won the Brentwood Independence game earlier that you talked about, and now it's going to be down to can Brentwood either hold that spot at number 1 or can Independence hold that spot and who they're playing at the last week. So I'm going to go with Brentwood as well.
Yeah, I think Brentwood's got this one. They're going to be 2 different places at that time of the season. Brentwood's going to be looking the playoffs. Franklin hopefully will be possibly fighting for it, but I think that Brentwood's definitely going to have the nod there, with the experience they've got on their roster.
Kind of getting short on time, but how many teams you think can make the playoff out of our county this year?
I think 5. I think Brentwood, Independence, Centennial, Fairview, and I think maybe Page.
Okay. How about you, Paul? Matt. Sorry.
I think the same. Looking at it, those are the teams that they've got a good return and starting base. They've been they've been doing well in the past, and I think that's who we're looking at as well.
Well, as our viewers know, we're doing this show prior to the season starting, so we're making predictions like everybody else. Right. We're a Saturday morning quarterback, just making predictions, and anything can change through the course of the year. Injuries can come up and all that kind of stuff. But main thing is it's going to be Friday night before we know it, and the fans, it's the best time of the year. Fall's the best time of the year, football's time, and we want the fans to come out and be a part of our Williamson County football experience. I'm Jack Daniels, your host, and this has been the Williamson County Sports Connection. And I want to thank my guests, Paul Breece and Matt Hill, for being with me today. And football season is upon us, fans, so we'll see you on Friday nights. Thank you for joining us.